Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Maze MTG here, back with another daily deck video, this time something a bit spicy for best of one arena standard. So, if you're familiar with the modern format, you may have heard of 8 Rack, the deck playing 8 copies of the Rack functionally, 8 Whack, well in this case, our deck is 8 Karn. That's right, we built a deck around 4 copies of Karn's Scion of Urza, and Karn the Great Creator. And not only are we playing a deck built around 8 copies of the greatest planeswalker in the multiverse, you'll also notice that every single card in the deck is colorless. So that's kind of the theme of this deck, seeing if we can make a 60 card deck that works without any cards that have a color or any of your normal basic lands. And I mean, who needs to produce colored mana when none of your spells have colored mana requirements anyway? So, what does a deck built around 8 copies of Karn do? Well, the first thing, Karn's Scion of Urza, -2 creating constructs. We want to be playing some amount of artifacts. Luckily, given our colorless stipulation, the vast majority of cards in our deck are artifacts and will pump our constructs. And even if we don't really have the artifacts to make huge constructs, Karn is very good at +1/-1ing, drawing you to cards you need as well. In addition, Karn the Great Creator works alongside artifacts, so for -2 we can get access to an artifact from outside the game, which is why this deck does have a sideboard, even if it is for best of one standard, which we'll be having a look at shortly. In addition, our non-creature artifacts can become threats with the power of Karn's +1. So if we're building a deck around entirely colorless cards, there's one more planeswalker A that's colorless, and B definitely has synergy with the theme, and that's 4 copies of Ugin the Ineffable. So for the first time ever, Ugin's static ability is probably going to be pretty relevant in this deck, making all of our spells cost 2 less to cast. Ugin's +1 and -3 are things that have been gone through previously. Also interesting, this Ugin has flavor text, which I hadn't noticed before. Looks like a quote from the War of the Spark book. Cool. So how do we round out the rest of our curve, given we're playing 12 colorless planeswalkers? Well, like I said, we want artifacts. So, for Treasure Map, you'd have seen this card being played alongside Karn's Scion of Urza in decks previously. It allows you to scry and eventually flips, generates treasures, which A, pump constructs, and B, ramp you, and C, can be sacrificed to Treasure Cove to draw cards. We've got one main deck copy of Sorcerous Spyglass, just to snipe a planeswalker if we don't have a Karn the Great Creator to give us access to them from the sideboard. And the rest of our 2-drops are Voltaic Servant. So a 1/3 does a good job blocking, but it's its triggered ability that we're most interested in. So at the beginning of our end step, we get to untap an artifact. So what artifacts can we untap? Well, we've already seen Treasure Map. In our 3 mana slot, we have 4 copies of Orazca Relic. So you can tap Relic for mana, and then using Servant, you can untap it to sacrifice it in the end step, perhaps. Or if we have some way of using the mana in end step, like a Treasure Map. Again, bit of added value there. We do have Transmogrifying Wand, just because turning opposing creatures into Oxes is hilarious. And we can also upgrade our own constructs in a pinch. We also have the main combo with Voltaic Servant, and probably with most of the cards in our deck. Traxos, Scourge of Kroog. So it's a 7/7 Trampler that enters the battlefield tapped, all for the low price of 4 mana. However, the only way to untap Traxos is to play a historic spell. Luckily, all of our non-land cards in this deck are historic spells, whether they're legendary planeswalkers or artifacts. So all you need to be able to do is play any card following Traxos. Traxos will untap, and Voltaic Servant can do a reasonable job untapping Traxos on its own as well. Rounding out the deck, we have 4 copies of Skyscanner. Just as a 1/1 artifact that replaces itself, it does fly to threaten planeswalkers that go to 1 like Teferi, gives you additional value if you do need to recast it. Untaps Traxos, fills the curve and costs 1 with Ugin. And lastly, we have 1 Crucible of Worlds. As you'll see when we get onto the mana base, because we don't need to play any coloured mana producing lands, we can play a lot of utility lands. Among them is Field of Ruin, so we can sacrifice Field of Ruin, start looking to disrupt opposing mana bases, especially in 3-color decks like Esper. Eventually your opponent will run out of basics, and then between Crucible and Field of Ruin, you kind of have a strip mine engine going there. Other non-basic lands we get to play that combo with Crucible, we've got 4 copies of Blast Zone. So again, with Crucible, we have a recurring way to deal with problematic permanents at various converted mana costs. In addition to these 2 utility lands, we have 2 Arch of Orazca, allows us to draw cards in the late game once we reach the point where we have the City's Blessing, and 4 copies of Karn's Bastion, because this is 8 Karn after all. Karn's Bastion allows us to spend 4 mana and tap it to proliferate, so that's putting another loyalty counter on our 12 Planeswalkers. It can also add a charge counter to Transmogrifying Wand and various other amusing corner cases as well. We're playing 4 copies of Mobilized District. It's a creature land that we just get to kind of free roll in the deck. It doesn't come into play tapped. It makes the only mana that we need, which is generic mana. We're also playing 4 Zhalfirin Void, a card that was played by Colorless Eldrazi in Modern. It may still be played in the deck, although I think it's quite tight for room. It just gives you a free scry when it comes into play, so it's like the temples that have just been unveiled for Core Set 2020, but again, it doesn't enter the battlefield tapped. Despite having all this utility in our mana base, none of our lands come into play tapped. And the last land we haven't mentioned yet is Emergence Zone. We're only playing 3, because it's not quite as useful as some of the other lands in the deck, but sometimes you get to do something amusing like make a flash Skyscanner, make a flash Wand, make a flash Servant, just something like that. Flashing in Planeswalkers, not particularly powerful unless you kind of want to do it in end step, untap, play a second spell, then use your loyalty ability, but still, it's kind of a free roll. The next thing we are going to have a look at then is the sideboard, because the sideboard is something we can access with Karn the Great Creator, even though we are playing best of 1. So we've got a Sentinel Totem and a Silent Gravestone, both to interact with decks that are planning to use the graveyard. We have 2 Amulet of Safekeeping, just because. 1 Blackblade Reforged, because why not? Who doesn't want to strap this onto a construct and go in swinging? 2 more Sorcerous Spyglass, again for kind of pinpoint disruption against opposing Planeswalkers. A Chaos Wand, because it's fun to try and snipe cards like Mass Manipulation out of opposing libraries so they can't be cast against you. X is going to be 0. Chaos Wand isn't a card you're going to be fetching very often. We have a second Crucible in the sideboard to access with Karn, another Wand, Helm of the Host, so you can stick it on Traxos and make more non-legendary Traxoses. Traxi, who knows what the plural of Traxos is. We have an Icy Manipulator, the original kind of lockdown card, reprinted in Dominaria, accessible here via Karn the Great Creator. Again, not something you're going to go for very often. God Pharaoh's Statue, 1 copy of the Immortal Sun. Despite the fact we have 12 Planeswalkers, I can see a world where you may need to get this card out of the sideboard in situations where it would just win the game, although a lot of the Planeswalker decks are moving away from playing solely Planeswalkers because of this card, so it's not as potent as it may have once been. And the obligatory copy of Meteor Golem combos well with Helm of the Host. It's just good to have an answer to any problematic permanent. So this is the deck. All colorless cards, all 75 of them, 8 copies of Karn. What do you think? Is it going to win any games? Do you like the deck idea? Are there any improvements or colorless cards you'd like to suggest? Whatever comments you might have, please leave them in the comments field below. Otherwise, we're going to take this deck into some games and see how it runs, and I'll see you all very shortly. Okay, so we have our first opponent with 8 Karn. We're on the play. This almost looks like a reasonable hand. We've got 3 lands, we've got a treasure map, a servant to untap the treasure map, Skyscanner to cycle, and the big payoff in Ugin. Definitely going to keep. We don't really know what we want yet, so we're not going to lead on Void. We're just going to play out Bastion and then pass. Just going to play out Bastion, pass. Let's see what the opponent is on. A Godless Shrine. That doesn't bode well for us. So what are we doing? I think we just play out the treasure map. And then we look to scry in our upkeep. Although we could just play Skyscanner. We have Servant, though. Ooh, Incubation Druid. Wonder what opponent's on, so... Perhaps 4-color Dreadhorde or something? Are we scrying? We could just play Skyscanner. I do want to get counters on this map as soon as possible, though. I don't want Skyscanner. And we'll draw. What do we get? Ooh, Field of Ruin. Okay. We're going to play Voltaic Servant. Maybe we don't want the opponent to know we have the field. Let's scry. Another land on top. Would like the land so we can scry and play Skyscanner next turn. Although we'll draw the land, play Skyscanner, then scry before the draw is probably the best order to do that in. We'll play Voltaic Servant. And we'll untap our map. Untap the map. What a combo. Ooh, opponent's card backs make a nice noise when you mouse over them. It's like a musical instrument. Okay. Llanowar Elf from our opponent. And another Incubation Druid. A lot of ramp. Oh yeah, we wanted to draw that. That's fine. So... another Skyscanner on top. No thanks. So what we could do, actually, is... we could actually, how does this work? So, if we scry this turn, play Skyscanner, this goes to 2 counters. Then if we upkeep map, we have 4 lands and 3 treasures, and we can just play an Ugin. That sounds pretty good. Okay, let's scry. Mobilized District on top, and Board of Lands. No thank you. Then we'll play Skyscanner. Then we'll draw a wand. That's kind of fun. Not going to waste anybody's time by attacking. We'll untap map. We'll make sure we have an upkeep stop. We get to turn so many things into Oxen with this machine gun, though. Let's see what our opponent's big mana play is. Nothing, apparently. Alright, let's use our map. Another Ugin on top. Kind of done with Ugins. Okay, we've got some Treasures. And we draw Karn. Okay, so let's remove all the... let's pull out all the stops. So we could cast Ugin this turn. We can cast Ugin and Transmogrifying Wand this turn. That does use all our treasures, though. But we do have Karn anyway, so that's probably fine. And it only pops... actually, is it even worth playing a wand off the treasure? That's the question. I don't think it is. We'll just play Ugin. We'll plus Ugin. Opponent probably has something to kill Ugin, but that's fine because we have 6 mana next turn. They might just adapt one of these druids. They might just adapt one of these druids. Okay, so we've got an Arch of Orazca here. That's not bad. Sure, untap the treasure. Why not? It doesn't do anything, right? You sack his cost. Yeah. I was like, now that's a combo. So next turn we can play Karn for 2. I'd like opponents just like tap out, because we could like play Karn, go find Meteor Golem, put Meteor Golem in, and then look to Helm of the Host next turn, which would be pretty fun, if I do say so myself. If I do say so myself. It's kind of like Traxos to make an appearance, just so I get to play Traxos. Okay, resolve. Well, this is the part where I regret not playing any basic lands. If you want to play this deck and pretend it's a real deck, you may want to include like 1 island or something, but then it's not mono-colorless, so we have dedication to the theme. Dedication to the theme. Don't really know what opponents kind of got going on, though. They're not really doing much. I mean, I don't know whether we can beat anything, but let's see. Yeah. Be curious to know what opponent's kind of end game is. Is it like Big Vraska, Liliana? We'll find out. Shall I? Well, shall I is fine. We can always just turn shall I into an ox, honestly. Okay, so we drew a land. So what do we have? We can play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can play Ugin, play Wand, activate Wand. That sounds pretty good. Yeah. Because opponent only has 4 mana open, right? Yeah. So we'll play Ugin, play Transmogrifying Wand. Maybe we should have activated Ugin before playing Wand, just in case opponent did have removal for Ugin. We did that in a really awkward order. So, land. Hmm. Let's just turn Shall-I into an Ox. Let's just turn Shall-I into an Ox. Enjoy your Ox. Didn't know Oxes make that noise. Well, opponent has... Oh, we could always jam with Skyscanner. Ah, yes, getting in. Getting in. Sure. I guess we'll untap Skyscanner. Because it can always jump block. I just want to be able to live the Karn, Meteor Golem, Helm of the Host Dream. Oh, opponent's playing Karn. Opponent's playing Karn. What are they going to get, though? I guess we can always Ugin their Karn. And then play our Karn, and then get something decent like Meteor Golem. Although opponent does have 7 mana here. So opponent just has Meteor Golem, that could be a problem. Oh, Statue? Statue's fine. We don't care about Statue. I mean, Statue's kind of awkward, actually, but... We can still just like -3 on this, right? So... Oh no, we can't. It doesn't have colours. It doesn't have colours. Okay. Can we... Until your next turn, up to 1 target non-creature artifact becomes an artifact creature. So actually we could minus Karn on their statue and then kill it with the Transmogrifying Wand. That's an interesting plan. Also, opponent had to tap their Incubation Druids to do that. So we could just send everything at Karn. But then we need some blockers. Sorry, opponent, this is a toughie. I guess we could just kill Orcs. That's a really awkward use of Ugin, but... We'll then send, like, here, after Karn. So now opponent doesn't have any more Karn. I don't really want to give opponent another Ox, though. Just yet. Let's get something. I guess we could just turn both the Incubation Druids into Oxes. That sounds pretty okay. Just turn both the Incubation Druids into Oxes. So what are we going to have? We're going to have 2 blockers. And both our Planeswalkers still have a ton of loyalty. I would like an answer. Well, we have an answer to this statue in, like, Wand plus Karn activation. Sorcerous Spyglass is kind of awkward because it gets our opponent's things. Don't really want Chaos Wand. Yeah, I know, game. I know. Maybe we take Spyglass just to see what's in the opponent's hand this turn. Or maybe we do just take Meteor Golem. We'll take Meteor Golem. Do we want to wand anything this turn? Yes, I'd like to wand this Druid. Then I guess we'll end our turn. We're going to untap Skyscanner. So next turn, we're going to Karn minus on the statue, wand it, and then play Meteor Golem, probably find Helm of the Host. So we got there in kind of the mirror. So, okay, so we won our first game with a Karn. Transmogrifying Wand was definitely the MVP there, turning opponent's Incubation Druids into 2/4s, having the option on that following turn to Karn +1 on the opposing God Pharaoh statue, convert it into an Ox, would have really kind of got us out from under the tax it was putting on our spells, even with an Ugin on the battlefield. I'm having fun with this deck though, so we're going to take it into one more game and we'll see how that goes now. Okay, so we've got a hand, we've got Traxos this time, and the Wand is back, so we're going to snap keep it. We've got 3 lands as well. Opponent does lead on Forest. Ooh, Orazca Relic. Okay, we'll play Blast Zone and pass. This is XX. Tap to tick up, right? Yeah. Not ticking it up anytime soon. It's nice to have the option. Elvish Clancaller. That's an interesting one. Are there enough elves in Standard for Elf Tribal? I guess we might be about to find out. We'll play Mobilized District and pass. Maybe we're going to need Blast Zone on 2 this game. I think we are going to want Blast Zone on 2 this game. Yep, my turn. If we want Blast Zone on 2, how do we best achieve that? So, if we play Skyscanner, all we do is draw a card. I don't think we really want to be blowing up our lands just yet, right? I mean, we could spend our turn putting a counter on Blast Zone, then our next turn killing 2 Clan Callers. Is there anything better than that? I mean, honestly, probably not as depressing as that sounds. Probably not. Yaha, opponent comes at us, we take 4. We're on 14. End of turn. Tick up Blast Zone. X is 1. Okay, so we draw Karn. Karn's a good follow-up. It's a good job we still have lands. Opponent hasn't played anything else. Do we just blow up the Blast Zone now, or do we do it in their turn? Because this just puts them onto the battlefield, right? What are our other options? We could just, like, play Traxos, but that doesn't do anything. We could play Wand, don't really want to convert them. We could play Skyscanner, but then what's the point? We'll just, I think, pass. I think we... Opponent plays another Elvish Clancaller into the Blast Zone. Yes. This is permissible. Opponent attacks. We will destroy our Blast Zone. We'll take our 3-for-1s off our mana base. And then what we'll do is play Emergence Zone, run out Traxos, and pass. I always thought Traxos was a big kind of battering ram, like the one from Lord of the Rings. But turns out it's like an actual dragon thing that's all crawling around, killing stuff. So Steel Leaf Champion. I'm kind of in the mood just to turn this into an Ox. Oh yeah, Traxos and Tad, right? Yeah. Slam with Traxos. Yield before my mighty dragon engine. Then we'll Oxified Steel Leaf Champion. Get Oxed. Ox our opponent a question. It is an Ox, yeah. All these Ox puns are... Yep, there's Clancaller number 4. So maybe if we held out with the Blast Zone, we could have got more value, but we are going to get Oxed. Traxos helpfully lets me know that it doesn't want to untap today, which is fair enough. I wouldn't want to untap either Traxos. We'll play Arch. I guess what we can do is play Skyscanner and Relic, and then use Wand. We don't want to use Wand this turn, though. So maybe we just play Relic and Karn, and then minus Karn. That sounds pretty good. We'll play Karn after combat, so Traxos untaps. Basically a Vigilant 7/7. This tramples. Opponent figured it out. We'll get him. And then post-combat Karn. Traxos untaps. Make a 4/4 construct. And pass. Traxos is fantastic. Nissa. Scary card. Not as scary as Traxos. The land fights for me. Also, we can turn opponents' lands into Oxes if we want to. Ooh, Voltaic Servant. We finally got the Traxos combo assembled. Opponent's on 6. Opponent has 8. Toughness. An opponent's triple block doesn't actually kill Traxos. Is opponent dead if we just send with both? I guess Chump here... No, opponent's not dead. Opponent isn't dead. We'll definitely attack first, though. We'll send both face. I don't think we care about Nissa, although opponent will have a ton of mana next turn. But our attack can't kill Nissa even if we want to, so I'd rather pressure our opponent's life total and force them to block. Yeah, so currently opponent's still dying. Sorry, what am I talking? Yeah, opponent's still dying. So they have to block the 4/4 as well. Yeah, this is fine. So opponent just has... I mean, just has all of their mana. Might convert this forest into an ox. I can do that, right? Yeah. Cool. So we'll blow up some stuff. I guess we'll play Skyscanner. Beep boop. Oh, could we have killed opponent? We could have traded off a Mobilized District. I think this is still fine. Okay, so we'll Karn. Beep boop. We've got Orazca Relic to activate Wand. Play another Skyscanner. Ooh, Crucible. Crucible Blast Zone. That's sweet. Make a construct. Convert this into an Ox. Ox Conversion Factory. What's particularly white about an Ox? I suppose what's not particularly white about an Ox? They're quite wholesome creatures. I suppose 2/4 for 4 are pretty white. So, what's going to happen? What comes next? Endray's Forerunners comes next. Are we just dead? Does this give trample? No, we're not just dead. Okay, this is fine. Oh. Doesn't give haste, does it? Well, we certainly have a game. So these... So they have Vigilance, so we definitely want to eat the Ox. That's a given. Opponent's at 3, right? They have what? How many blockers? Well, if we trade, opponent has 1 blocker. And we have... not enough attackers. So if we don't eat Endray's Forerunners, opponent has 2 blockers, and still they get to chump. Oh, but we're going to downgrade Galta. We're going to downgrade Galta. So... this is fine. And then Galta has to chump the construct. Well, the Ox has to chump the construct. Sure. Oh, what am I chatting? We just have enough. Okay, cool. Yeah. I forgot our 7/7 was surviving combat. So, 2-0 with 8 Karn. So we did get a lot of value in that game off Blast Zone. We didn't play anything like Mono Red or Esper Control kind of in our best of 1 games, but I certainly had a blast playing the deck. Transmogrifying Wand was the star in both games. I'm glad we got to Traxos in game 2. I think all of the key cards in the deck made an appearance. We got to pull some stuff out of the sideboard. So hopefully if you do try the deck, you have as fantastic a time as I have. Otherwise, what do you think of the deck having now seen it play out? Any improvements, any comments? Are you going to give it a try? Please let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel, and you can also set notifications that will let you know when new videos go live. If you'd like to see me play any of the decks from my channel live, we do also have a link to twitch.tv/mazemtg in the description, which is my Twitch channel. But whatever you choose to do, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll see you all very soon.